Welcome to Persephone's Tavern.
Welcome back to Ivila. I am your humble DM, Trevor Trent, joined as always.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine.
I'm going to go backwards now just because of that.
What?
Joined as always, we have Andrew Goebel.
Wait, no, I'm not ready. What did I say? Asimir.
We also have Nick Lloyd,
Yuriael Gloomraven,
Austin Boyette,
Elara Viraleth,
and Hayden Poindexter.
Galil Oremender.
Yep, we're keeping this. This is staying in, everyone.
All right.
A little goofy episode to begin.
Yeah, we got some raucous energy on this Sunday afternoon.
We're all well slept this time.
Let's jump back into a little recap. All right, cue the music. Last we left off, Asimir reunited with a transformed Everett as a plan to destroy the dam came to fruition. While they battled an encroaching horde of defensive bullywugs coming to protect the structure, the pair used makeshift explosives provided by Everett to breach the dam. While Everett would do his best to stave off the enemies, Asimir volunteered to climb down the back of the dam to plant the bombs. One after another, Asimir made quick work of setting the charges, and he and Everett managed to retreat to solid ground just as the dam came apart. At the same time, realizing that events were moving faster than anticipated, Elara began desperately opening as many of the trapper cages as she could. Determined to save as many of the captives as possible, she enlisted the tentative aid of some released goblins to speed up the process. Nevertheless, time was against her in the end as the explosive charges eventually erupted overhead, releasing more and more water from the lake beyond. As water filled the area, she made frantic yet futile effort to free the boule, and resigned to casting a water-breathing spell on the creatures in the area, and prepared for the worst, a deluge of water ready to fill the drained riverbed. Meanwhile, across the camp at the bullywug spawning pools, the tyrannical bullywug queen and her retinue continued to battle the rampaging Behir, beset on razing the entire village in its escape. Galil, having remained close to the Behir to help ensure its survival, was caught in the crossfire as the Behir released yet another intense blast of cold breath in all directions. As the stalwart dwarf succumbed and fell among the newly formed permafrost, Yuriael sprang to action and cast a healing spirit over Galil, bringing him back to consciousness, just enough to muster an escape from the area. Certain they had done all they could, they began towards the village gates as the Behir slayed the bullywug queen, and pained bellows of splintered wood and gushing water in the distance made promise of things to come. The pair rushed towards the exit of the village, and they watched in real time as the dam crumbled to pieces before their eyes, and a wall of water began rushing towards them some quarter-mile away. Realizing they had only moments before their path would be flooded, they cut through the tight byways of the village towards the riverbank and began making a climb for higher ground. Yuriael helped Galil up the bank without much problem, but as water reached them and began rising rapidly, Yuriael struggled with the increasingly slick conditions forming around them. Using every ounce of strength between them, it was all Yuriael could do to avoid being washed away as Galil dragged him out of the water. Elara, meanwhile, faced the brunt of the wave. Clinging for dear life to the rigging that still held the captive boule, Elara was thrown loose as the flimsy structure was eventually destroyed. Her body roiled through the rushing water, pushing her ever closer to the jagged mouth of the riverbed. All seemed lost to her when she noticed a large, powerful blue creature swimming within reach below. With a desperate grasp, she tried to grab the creature, but slid off in vain. As panic set in, suddenly, she felt the clasp of large reptilian claws wrapping around her and pulling her close as they moved up the river against the current. Eventually, all culminated back at the entrance to the village. Asimir and Everett caught their breath among the indifferent fleeing bullywugs as a worn Galil and drenched Yuriael trudged out of the gates to join them. They had so much as exchanged a relieved, wearied glance to one another when they all watched as the apex Behir, with Elara in hand, bounded from the flooded, smoldering remains of the bullywug village, over the wrecked dam, and into the expanses of Uzu Lake beyond. And that is where we pick up.
I forgot that we were that deep in.
Y'all are deep in it.
Dude, you got free willy.
Four of you, that
awesome.
being Galil, Asimir, and Yuriael, are there with Everett at the mouth or at the gates of the village, and just seeing this Behir bound over some hundreds of feet away and splash into the water.
Were they with us? I thought they were like on top of a big structure in the lake.
No, they made it.
They made it?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Badass. That's even better.
How far away from the actual breaching of the dam were me and Yuriael?
It was only like 150 feet from the main gate where the bridge was. It's like there's the main gate, and then there's like that partition wall that wrapped around and connected directly to the dam. So you're as close to the dam as you can be at this point.
I guess I would rush over to the
Couple
other
hundred
side,
feet to the
start
bank.
rushing towards the bank of the bank on the, the lake. It's not a lake anymore because it's like pouring through the dam. I don't know what to call
draining
it.
a bit.
Yeah, so I run towards that.
Okay. As soon as you start doing that, you hear this almost immediately as you get away. You're maybe 50 feet away from the group when you hear this, and the rest of you see that Everett falls to the floor and starts retching. You see like he's heaving and his stomach is like retching like a dog is about to throw up, and you see he starts gasping for air. His rat-like claws are like digging into the ground, and you start to watch as like fur begins sloughing off of him in big clumps, and his ears like fall off the side of his head, and you see like as it's falling off, his gnomish features are kind of revealing themselves beneath in this like Icarus thick crimson, not quite blood mucus that separates the two, and you're seeing him very physically taxed as he's transforming back into his gnomish form right before your eyes.
Gross.
Listen, there is not enough time to unpack that right now, but put a pin in that.
Yeah, that's a curse. I think we can fix that. That's a curse.
That's evil thing.
Yeah, we can get that fixed.
Yes.
And then you just hear this as the tail falls off.
Still wagging.
Oh, I hate it. Gly, where are you going?
I'm gonna go try and find the bay here that scooped our friend up here.
She's not dead?
Uriel, you kind of were able to get a quicker look at it, and you see that Elara was fully like intact. She wasn't any worse for wear, other than some like physical. You could see like some tears in clothing and some blood stains here or there. But it looked like she was awake when they went overhead.
She's surely dead.
Yeah, I mean, fucking sucks. I was kind of getting interested in her whole thing, but let's just fucking get out of here then.
No,
leave,
she looked mostly fine. I mean, she was even conscious. We should probably get her.
I start wading out into the water. I'm gonna submerge myself, start swimming underwater.
It's going straight in.
Oh my.
So as you touch the water and it begins filling through your armor, it bites you to the core, but you're focused and you push through that initial pain and swim deeper. And you're looking around. You don't fully submerge, right?
No,
It's about waist deep.
Yeah, I want to get out about chest level.
So from where you are, you guys are kind of on the eastern edge of that little fishing area of the bullywug village. This area didn't really get affected by the whole calamity as such. It's mostly still intact, and as you're kind of trudging out there among the little docks with little rowboats tied up here and there, you can kind of just hear the distant sound of all that water still sort of pushing in through that opening and filling out that opened riverbed. Not near as intense as it was a few minutes ago. And you hear just the slightest sound of frogs still. But you look out across the edge of the river where it continues east towards the larger expanse of the lake, and it's just still.
Listen, man, I'm fucking tired. I can do it. I'll fucking do it. But can I get like a nap and a biscuit real quick?
If she's underwater, I don't think we have time to take a nap.
She's an elf. She probably has some weird magic-y bullshit.
I don't know.
Okay, fine. Let me take my shoes off first.
I swim out a little further.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. Go.
You feel the weight of your armor. Give me a athletics check with disadvantage.
Why are
as try
you
to
the one
turn
swimming
it.
out?
Because nobody else.
Because he has conviction and he cares. You start sinking like Iron Man style.
That's part of the
just
plan. I'm
and
gonna
you
get a
start
better
kinda-
look.
Oh,
From
yeah.
here.
And as you go down, you immediately notice it's pitch black in this water
Fuck.
because you're in a cave.
Shit. I jump in too.
Yes.
I put my bow like straddled in against me and dive in as deep as I can and try and get a good look around.
I just kind of look over to Everett and Everett's.
He's like heaving in place and he's just saying, "I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
sorry." And then
I cast light on my weapon.
easily done. You get this little globe just in time to see Uriel swan dive in.
Do I see him sinking?
Yeah, but he doesn't look panicked.
I'm doing. This is part of the plan.
He looks like a man in a diving
How
suit.
far down are we?
This has to be.
I've got my.
You're
hammer,
right on the bank, so you know he's dwarf in height. Like his hair is probably still
Yeah,
floating on the
but
surface.
I have my hammer. It's all lit up. And I start.
You
motioning
swan diving
deeper.
in is like
Yeah.
jumping into the side of the lake. You know, you just dive
Do that
in
long
and you
dive.
instantly hit silt on your belly
Yeah.
as you get down there.
I'm swimming towards him.
Do like the.
But again, you guys are looking around and all you see is darkness. You can't even say it's dim. There's not enough light in this space to penetrate into the water.
So it's like a murk once it gets.
It's
out
just a
to sea.
murk. It's
How do I
like
not-
just
My
a
light
few
from my
inches of
light's not
water.
cutting through.
Yeah, it's like
Same.
it's like
it
turning
it
lights
functions
on.
as it should. Your light creates more light than any of that ambient light in the area.
But it's just like being absorbed.
So as much as light would travel underwater, in any environment, it's fine for your hammer. So you do kind of see a little bit more.
How far?
How far down?
I mean, what is it?
It's 1530, isn't it?
Yeah, 1530.
So it's half of that.
So just 15.
It's 15 feet of dim light.
Yeah.
With me being able to see in the dark, does that affect anything?
You see twice what he can see from his light source.
1530.
But you don't see any sort of, there's not even really any like underwater flora down here where you're at specifically. Some like almost kind of craggy looking vegetation that's able to kind of survive in this rough environment. What are you doing, Asimir? As you kind of hung back, you saw both of them go in the drink. Everett's like having a panic attack right next to you, trying to regain his composure.
I feel like I'm just kind of pacing along the bank. And pacing along the bank, it's like, anytime one of us goes in, one of us doesn't make it out. First it was Yuriael, now it's Elara. Fuck it, me too.
Yeah, that's been the theme, hasn't it?
Yep. See it. Watch the guests. Make sure they're okay. Ratman, I believe in you. We're still gonna talk later. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Remind me to tell y'all the meaning of recon later too.
Yeah. We'll have coffee.
Man, clap back.
We don't ever do recon, right?
I start like taking off my shoes, take off my jacket, put my book down, take my book out. It's like, okay, good thing I laminated my pages. And I'm gonna jump in the water.
As you're kind of drying off, you see like he's kind of regained himself enough to stand back up, and you see he like whistles, and you kind of know what that's likely to mean.
Yeah.
It's calling for his pig. And then he kind of lets you walk. He walks off. He follows behind, but you see he's in a very weakened state after this transformation, and doesn't seem like he's going to be doing much physical for a minute.
Great. Good time.
All right. Ooh, okay, swimming lessons. Okay, was never a great swim, but we'll try it out anyways.
I want to try to seeing Yuriael jump in, and then I see Asimir coming in behind me. I sort of want to motion to Yuriael to go one direction, and I'm going to go another direction, and then point to Asimir to go a different direction, so we sort of spread out on the bed of the lake.
Can I roll something to understand the hand signal?
It's pretty
I mean, it would be.
simple. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Okay, so you quickly see that the light source that Galil made down there, and you kind of rejoin with yours. The way you can space those out, we'll say the lights they give you how much glow? It's like 10 foot per globe.
It's 10 feet of dim light.
So if you stack those out, we'll say we extend your view by, we'll just say it doubles what you guys got.
I could form it into like a humanoid shape if I wanted to, but that's.
And if at any point you want to move it around, but
So I start swimming forward.
what are you looking for?
I'm looking for any signs of the bay here. Elara. It is a bay there now.
It's a bay where now? Sorry.
Or any like, you know how sometimes underwater, like whenever there's like you start walking around in an area where there's sand or mud or something that starts kicking up debris. I'm looking for anything like that, and also maybe any air pockets while I'm down here that I could get another quick breath in.
Like
You see a murky riverbed with a prominent current pulling westward. To the east, the river grows deeper. I don't know how far you're willing to go, but you can tell that pretty immediately.
Wait, is this a river or a lake?
It's a river up to this point,
Oh, so we're there. So on the river.
but it connects very quickly into the lake.
Gotcha.
Very similar to how ours work. No, like, fish or anything like that. Anything natural, like fauna has been scared from the area from all the noise and cacophony, and the lake has not, or the river has not settled from what y'all have just done, so there is a lot of that. But you're pretty confident, you're very confident that there's not a bay area in this immediate area.
There's not a bay here.
There's not a bay
There's
here.
a bay there.
There's a bay there or a bay where,
Bay somewhere.
but not a bay here.
I guess I'm gonna circle back to my wizard and my priest and try to hand signal them.
I point up. I try to swim up to the surface so we can talk.
You guys all try individually and can't, and eventually both of you take a wing and just both water wing back up to the top. So
Just
it
holding me.
takes all three of you for Galil to tread water. But
I can't see anything down there. What's down there?
Nothing. I looked really good.
You went maybe 30 feet forward.
Listen, my eyes see all.
He's got to be in the deeper part of the lake, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would suspect that we go by the dam, maybe.
Do you
Look
think?
again.
Do you think it would be hungry?
Does it go up river? Does the river continue up?
the river keeps going.
We got to go up that river.
We have to go.
I
What if
make
we all
it to
take
the
a
bank
nap?
and start trudging up the bank towards the river to see if I can see any signs that way.
You see that the river just keeps going in that direction, and you guys already traveled this path more or less with Everett to go back from his burrow. So going back that way will take you past where he lived, and then you keep going east instead of the west where you guys went.
Does it look like from where I am that river would be big enough for the Behir to travel up?
Oh, most definitely. The river is several hundred feet wide. That's why it was so unlikely that you would find them. This large creature with a very fast swim speed went into a large body of water. Yeah. So there's no telling where he is right now.
Didn't you talk to the thing?
I mean, yeah,
How?
kind of. I don't know. I just talked to it.
Try that again.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, Bay here. Bay, where are you?
Here, Bay, here, Bay, here, Bay.
Is that thing that people do
what
for
do I do
crocodiles
for
where I
that?
go pat the edge of the water?
I mean, at this point, I'm trying. Yep. I pat the edge of the water.
Yeah.
You see a bullywug head pops up out of the water.
Oh, shit.
Bop it with my hand.
Yeah.
He just dies and floats down.
Whack a wub.
As you're kind of looking off that way, Everett's like, y'all have to be exhausted after all that. I mean,
I'm fucking tired.
I'm sorry for your friend, but y'all ain't no good if you're dead.
Yes.
What are we supposed to do?
She's underwater.
Yeah, she has maybe 2 minutes left. I mean,
Well, what do y'all want to do?
All right, so there's two options. There's either the Behir is still in this giant body of water that stands before us with the crystal clear top, and it's got her at the bottom.
Probably. It probably went back to its territory. They were, mostly up the river. And now that y'all let it free, that's where he was going to go.
Yeah.
So we got to go that way. I'm going to go that way.
I can't go fast anymore.
We just go regular then.
It's fine with me.
Just
And,
regular like everybody else.
Wilbur starts waddling up kind of close to the... You see this
Wilbur.
big pig. He's got some saddlebags over him. But you notice that he's not being followed by the caravan people or the two other humanoids that you guys rescued.
Because why would they stay?
Y'all left him with the pig to go rescue Yuriael.
The pig ate them. No.
I think they're probably just still there.
Nah. Dude, I've seen a couple murder documentaries. That pig ate
The
them.
pig is a lot.
And you see, Everett goes up and starts doting on it. And, it seems happy that his pig is safe and has seemed to have kind of in the stress of everything forgotten that y'all had brought more people out. So he seems oblivious to the fact that there's nobody with the pig anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't our mission to save those people. That was saving bystanders as we helped Everett.
Yeah, I mean, those are Edgar's people.
Yeah, that's not Edgar's
We
team.
need to.
What are we, heroes?
Where would they be?
You might assume that they're sitting up at the top of the hill and didn't follow the pig. Or maybe not.
Listen, all I'm thinking, if we're going to have a snowball's chance in the hills to find Elara, we should probably run up beside the lake itself and not just swim straight through it.
Yeah, we walk up the river bed. Or
Yeah.
we walk
Yes.
essentially the same path we came in that Everett took us down that
And-
follows
yeah.
the river. But we should swing by and see if we can find the
Yeah,
caravan.
she only has 2 minutes left of breathing left at best. We should stop by and make sure.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean at the same time, our people are in danger.
Oh, you're right.
We just saved them. We'll go back. How far away is that hill? It's just like 150 yards.
Yeah, it was like a half a mile walk, so
I run there.
it takes less than 10 minutes to get there.
We did kind of cause them to have one of their dads get arrested or something like that. Was it? We
Took
arrested
the blame.
one.
It wasn't our fault. They worked.
You
Yeah,
could probably do some thaumaturgy and yell out for them.
As you go back, it's pretty easy to follow Wilbur's pig feet tracks back up through the ground. And as you do, you quickly find, not even halfway up there, really when the top of the bluff kind of levels back out with the rest of it, you see that there are two sets of tracks, or multiple footprints. There's the pig set that looks fresher, and then there is multiple sets that are following the same path but branch off and head east.
It was east towards the entrance of the cave, from where we know.
Yeah, east is back towards Everett's hideout, back towards the tower, back towards the branch that leads you back to the cistern.
Do we have any chance to catch up with them to tell them that, hey, your son is at the inn? Or
They
do
could
we-
have gotten recaptured by Bullywug at this
You know what? They
point.
fucking could have, but
You don't see bullywug tracks up
We
here.
don't see Bullywug.
Yeah.
We're going that direction, so we'll just keep an eye out.
Are y'all? I mean, how y'all feeling? I'm sorry for your friend, but you gotta hope if she's alive, it's gonna be longer than the next couple minutes. Because if y'all were gonna find her, you would have found her.
Yeah.
shit.
Y'all gotta think about your own survival down here too. Are y'all good to keep going?
You know what?
Or do we need to stop back by my place and rest up for a bit?
We didn't.
It's a hard choice.
This might sound pretentious, especially coming from me, but we didn't stop for Yuriael.
We did. We stopped and we turned back.
No, we didn't. We didn't. I guess.
Oh, we didn't rest. Yeah,
We didn't give up on
We
you.
didn't give up on when we lost Yuriael. We're
Yes.
more tired now, but also
Stakes aren't any lower.
Well, I mean, y'all want to take up one of these frogs' boats and just head up the river from here?
Yes.
It might be a little slower than walking, but you'll be able to at least see what's going on.
Yeah, that's
Maybe you find her sooner.
Can you keep an eye out for those people and try to get them to rest at your place if you see them along the path?
Tell you what, y'all did me a great favor by releasing the bay here, albeit it didn't exactly pan out how I thought it would. However, I will keep an eye out for these folks y'all freed.
we are reconnaissance.
And if we do find our friend, I would love to hear what the original plan was. Because you did bring explosives, so
Well,
where did it go awry? Exactly. But we'll talk about
well,
that.
I had always intended. Look, I had always intended on blowing the dam, but I wanted y'all to get a lay of the land first, and come check back in. And the next thing you know, all hell's breaking loose. One of y'all's guys is dead or missing, and then we have to go fix all that while all hell's breaking loose. So I just, you know,
Man, that's interesting.
and I'd love to tell you the long tale about that, but
If we're going to
tale.
listen to it. Oh, that's so funny.
I
That is
mean-
so funny, actually.
Long tail fell off.
I still have it right here.
I'd
No.
regale the tale. But if this is where we be splitting up, I mean, I could come with you on the boat, but I wouldn't be able to look out for them other guys.
Listen, we'll have coffee. We'll meet up tomorrow. Okay?
So
We'll meet
but
up if we
well,
can find our friend.
It's a big place, but I'm just saying,
we
you
know
know.
where you live, Everett.
I know you
You're gonna
do.
dodge us.
We found you once. We'll find you again.
Let's just say I'm skeptical that y'all are going to be coming back this way.
All right. All right.
After all, y'all didn't come back when I said to.
Maybe come have a drink at the. Do you ever come up for drinks at Dragons?
Yeah, he said every 100 years or so.
No, I ain't been back up there since I came down here, and
Is why you're down here why you're the rat?
no, that came after.
help
That came after.
The rat came after.
Yes,
We need to talk, buddy.
I know we need to talk, but y'all are in a hurry.
You
Yes,
go
we
that
are.
way. All
Listen,
right. I
you're
go and get a
very
boat.
interesting.
I hop on a boat.
See,
I'm on a
your friend's
frog
leaving
boat.
right now. We ain't got time.
You know what? She's dead.
I'm also on the boat.
I want to know everything about you. Fine, later. And I'll go to the boat.
Alvita's hanging.
He's a German rat.
Au revoir.
Sparkins and Deutsch.
Grab him. I don't know what that means.
What in the hell is German?
Oh my god.
I'm
Okay,
trying very hard to paddle up river.
So we're splitting up, right? Y'all are getting in a rowboat, and Everett's gonna walk back to his house, hopefully finding your convoy folks on the way.
The rat came
So,
after.
You guys
That's the name of the next episode.
start slowly rowing up the river, and you see as Everett and Wilbur begin trudging along and slowly disappear into the darkness, only a small flicker of lantern light letting you know that he still walks along your path. And before long, you lose sight of him as his pace is just slightly faster than y'all's. You guys are trudging up this river.
That means there are were-rats in this cave.
Pan out to me, just like deeply sighing, say, maybe we should have just stayed in the inn today.
Imagining Everett's sipping on hot cocoa later with his pig.
Like, rowing upstream.
Like, well, I feel bad for them folks, but Wilbur, it was a real productive day for us. Got rid of them bullywugs. So we are going to jump back to Elara. So, Elara,
That's me.
this bay here that has you clutched up in its grasp, as it continues to swim, you feel that it's moving with incredible speed. You feel this force of the water pushing you, and it almost feels like the way that wave did when it was pushing you the opposite way. You feel like the only reason you're able to withstand it is because he has such a firm clasp around you.
Is it cold?
It is extremely cold. Even though you are in your winter Ladrin form, you feel like it only somewhat lessens. You feel this wave of exhaustion taking over as you are exposed to this temperature for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And you feel it slowly starting to overtake you, this feeling of hypothermia. And soon fatigue and everything that's happened you start to black out. You feel your vision fading to the sound of rushing water.
Thank God water breathing isn't concentration. I would be dead.
Yeah, no kidding.
24 hours or however long you stay conscious.
Yeah.
Eventually, you wake, chilled to the bone. You find yourself in a strange cavern, about 60 feet high at its peak. The room is about 100 feet wide, circular in nature, and surrounded by 1,000 plated shards of ice arranged in a dome. You see your reflection staring back at you hundreds of times in all directions. You see that the space is split on a flat plane of ice, or split between a flat plane of ice and a serene pool of water. As you take stock of your surroundings, you realize that you are not alone. Clinging to the walls in various points are 4 Behir, albeit smaller than the one that brought you here. They passively crawl along the walls, watching your every move. And you see like there's no discernible passages or anything. The only way out seems to be through the water. What do you do?
There's no way to discern how much time has transpired. Can I tap into the sense of the magic and see how much time is left?
You can tell that the duration of the spell is ended. You no longer have the benefit of the water-breathing spell. But you're not exactly sure how long beyond that.
Okay.
Likely over an hour has passed.
Have I raised up and looked around and stuff?
I mean, I assume you've looked around enough to see all this, and you see as they are watching you, they don't move closer to you.
I'm going to stay where I'm at. Just going to not move, at least for another
Panic.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Just stay and kind of observe and not let them know that I've woken up yet.
You don't know much of the ways of dragons, but you know beasts. And you see these creatures clinging to the walls like lizards, watching you, and you don't feel threatened. And as you're taking stock of this and looking around at all these reflections of ice, you feel a resonance in this chamber.
Oh, I think we're in their own.
You feel an attunement to not these creatures, but to this environment. And you feel the ice somewhat aligning with the druidic nature you possess and your Eladrin heritage. And this is the most like the Fey realm you've felt since being back.
So no other exits in this room besides that
Besides
pool.
the pool of water, you assume.
I'll get up tentatively while looking around, making sure that they don't move when I move.
There is a movement, like an instep, kind of as you flinch, they flinch. But never do they get closer to the ground. They stay almost equidistant from each other, but sort of just dance along the walls in synchronicity with the way you move, keeping their present visual.
I will walk slowly over to the pool of water and look into it.
Okay. As you move slowly towards this very calm pool of water, suddenly you see bubbles beginning to rise from below. Subtle at first, but then there's a roiling and a choppy bubbling as bubbles are rising and shaking the serenity of the surface. And you watch as a large shadowed figure comes up out of this water, almost filling up the entire circumference of the space. And you see one large, bigger than the apex Behir's head come out of the water, locking eyes with you in step as you're on eye level with this thing as it comes up and rises and towers over you. And before you can even register the immense size of this creature, a second head roils up out of the water, and then a third, and a fourth, and a fifth Behir head coiling up out of the water, attached to a singular body that comes out, and you see puts one massive claw on the left side, kind of barring your exit from that end, claw on the other side, and just kind of rises up and sort of halfway pulls its upper half out of the water.
Claws in the walls?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Just
a
kinda-
60-foot span.
And as you do that, you see there's like a rattle through the ice, and you hear it kind of jingling like chimes all through the room. And suddenly you see your reflections align. There's like a shift to the way the light is suddenly bouncing. And instead of just seeing 1,000 fractured pictures, you see infinite copies of yourself in one direction. infinite copies of yourself in another direction. And everything kind of just seems to like fade to the background of your mind as all you see is this 5-headed serpentine creature staring down at you.
I think I found the Lake Guardian.
You're looking around and you're unsure what to do, feeling extremely cornered at this point. You see the head in the center, you see the sentient recognition in its eyes. As some of the other heads are kind of taking like non-verbal, cursory sniffs of the air around you, and suddenly the head in the center begins to speak. In a loud voice it says, "Be at peace, small one. The Uri are welcome in my grotto. Long has it been that I treat with ancient blood."
What language is it speaking? Or is it in my head?
He speaks common.
Faye coming? He's got my dialect.
And Faye just like, hello, you come here with the old blood, huh?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
A little. He does kind of remind you of your mentor a little bit.
It's weird that he's the first person that said, they are the first person that said Yuri in this plane of existence.
Other than, what Asimir knows, yeah.
Yeah.
You do feel like this weight kind of lifted in the moment as he addresses you with a cordial, reverence.
You know of the Yuri.
Indeed I do, although it has been many centuries since I have thought of them.
So, the Yuri still exist here then?
For you to be in this cave, I see it proof of that.
Are you saying I am Yuri?
He's confused, and the other heads kind of tilt all at the same time in the same degree. And he says, "Are you not?" And he kind of grumbles, and you hear this as he pulls in this long nasally breath, and he says, "It has been a long time, but I will never forget the scent."
With a puzzled look on my face, I will just say, so you must be the Lake Guardian.
You hear an asynchronous chuckle from all 5 heads as they
You hear laughter.
Yes, I suppose the surface dwellers have made a new moniker for me over the time. My presence, I suppose, is not unknown, although forgotten.
How long have you been here?
Centuries, slumbering beneath the mountain.
So you would know much about the history of the dwarves that used to be in this area.
Indeed. My name is Erfirung, Avatar of the Frozen Hearth.
So much fucking cooler than Lake Guardian.
Yeah, it is.
I slumbered here for many centuries, but I was awoken by explosions. Miners digging deep. They drew closer to the source. My charge. I failed to protect it. Corruption was born. Now I am in exile.
Have you exiled yourself?
You see all heads kind of nod asynchronously.
What was your charge?
It says an aether spring, a conduit to the gods.
Conduit to the gods. Well, I admit I've seen some fragments of the material, and there was something otherworldly about it, but conduit to the gods. That's wild. Fey wild. Sorry. Looked right at the camera. Fey wild.
It says I never dreamed that the Uri still lived.
Neither did I. I come from the Feywilds, another plane of existence. I traveled here to find the Yuri and to tell them of a great calamity that I had foreseen, told among the stars. But I fear that many centuries, or at least hundreds of years, have passed in my traveling here, and I'm still trying to get things right.
Yes, it is true. If you search for the Yuri civilization now, you may find it difficult to find. However, far to the east, the sleeping city lies, Gar Uragon.
And Gar Uragon was a civilization that the Yuri inhabited or built here?
The name rings a bell, but you can't place it in the moment.
Sure. Well,
As he says the name of the city, he says, with a level of conviction, he says, reach it you must, but you will not reach it alone. Between here and there is a vast, scorched desert. Hold trust in those who trust you, and you will find your way there.
well, you're right. I must reach it. But the Bay here who brought me here, Am I right in assuming part of you is that bay here?
No, nothing quite so otherworldly as that. But all these creatures cater to my dominion to some extent. Their territory has been long established here, but around the same time that I was awakened, things started to change, and the closer to the source the miners got, the weirder things got.
Yeah, I fear that Aethersight has a deep connection to all of the strange happenings that have been happening as of late. But we're hardly any closer to finding the truth. Would you recommend that I go straight for Garurukan?
Not without ample preparation. Again, it will be a taxing journey, many miles from here.
What can you tell me of the fallout of the dwarves in this area?
I can tell you that the surface dwellers discovered one of these conduits to the gods and used it to make implements, all manner of things. To them they saw it as a resource, and they treated it as any other resource. But unfortunately, not all who had access to such power had good intentions,
I see.
as is often the case with mortals.
Well, thank you for my safe harbor. I wasn't planning to wake again. That bay here grasped me. I hope that your realm is a little bit more stable now. We had heard that the Lake Guardian had been disturbed by the recent happenings and the blocking of the river and everything. It was part of that led us to that area.
One of the many influences of this resource you speak of. I do not know all of the specifics of what happened beyond this grotto. However, I could sense the presence of this mineral,
The crown must have been made of Aethersight. I kind of say that out loud, thinking to myself.
as you say.
If we were to find the crown, what should we do with it? Can it be destroyed?
Destroyed, yes, but with it comes great temptation. I would recommend avoiding it at all costs.
Yes, maybe it's safest lying at the bottom, at least for now. Does all Aethersight come from the same conduit?
Not in its natural state. This is a mineral that can be discovered all over the continent. And I am not the only primordial being that safeguards these sorts of conduits.
Okay.
Something about this source has been tainted.
The source itself.
And you see, they all nod again. Hence for my exile, for I have failed the goddess Atithene.
Is there anything that we could do to help this source?
If it were in your power to achieve, seal it, so that none could ever access it again. But I fear you may find that more difficult than it sounds.
If I am able to, I will seal it. I owe you my life, obviously. Again, thank you for the safe harbor. How could I get out of here and leave you in peace?
I can return you to the surface at any time you wish. That being the surface of the lake.
I immediately would like to go to my friends. They've probably been searching for me.
Find them I shall. And you see, before he's like even taking any action on that with you at all, you see like some of the back heads start doing like this vibrant clicking sound, and all four of the bay here scurry over to it, kind of like warble at it, and all dive into the water ahead of you guys.
Interesting. I want to be awake for the journey.
Sure.
I want to remain conscious. Do I need to do another water check?
How he looks at you and he goes, "How long can you hold your breath?"
I cast the spell on myself and I will say, long enough.
I believe it is an omen that we have met, that the time of the Yuri has returned. Maybe you are one of them, maybe you are not. But I wish you luck in your journey.
I am infinitely thankful. You are a friend of my people, it seems. And I'll never forget this meeting.
He says, one last thing before we depart. I would know your name. I would know the name of hope.
I will say, my name is Elara Viraleth from the Feywilds. And what was your name again?
Erferung.
I will remember you for all of my days, and I hope that I can restore both the Yuri and the Aethersight conduits back to their former glory.
So with that, you see one of his claws comes up out of the water to compensate as the forward claw rolls back down and offers you a hand to step into. And you see it's quite large. You know, one person could easily stand in the palm of this thing's hand.
I'll be that person.
No, anyways, you climb up onto its hand and you see it pulls you in close. You cast the water breathing on yourself and you just dive into the water. And you guys are swimming for a solid 15 minutes before you start to see the shimmer of residual light above you.
Is it just ice caverns, underwater ice caverns?
He takes you deep through these caves, long snaking cave systems that go into the bottom of the lake. And you see it just opens up into this expansive lake that goes on for miles in all direction. The rest of you guys...
So that's when I figured out that I was not in the right class.
Could you please row the boat?
Oh yeah, no, sure.
I am.
No, I got
tired.
the enchantment. It's pushing the water behind us. It's all good. I'm working.
You see this little spectral hand just kind of splash, 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 like a very weak trolling motor.
So yeah, Embertooth. He was okay as a professor, but I think he was more in line for something else.
I'm gonna throw you in the lake.
That's something that reminds me what he said one time.
How long have we been rowing?
You guys have been rolling for a little over an hour, and you have seen sight of nothing but an occasional cloaker flying over your head. Beyond the panic of the fact that you haven't seen sight of Elara this entire time, the rowing is serene, and you actually feel relatively safe on this large body of water where things can't come out and get you from the shore.
So at this point, if we did find her, she would be drowned and floating on top of the water, right?
She's dead.
Yeah, we're just looking for a body at this point.
I feel so bad. This is the second time.
Listen, she knew about the Yuri? How do you pronounce it? I don't know.
She did crash in from a meteor. She may be more resilient.
Who dies saving goblins?
What if that was just what was that the one time that she could live? And she would have died being a meteor.
What if she got 8 more lives though?
She's not like a cat.
Are you sure?
Know. Yeah, we don't.
Well, I guess she could be a cat, but I don't know.
She turned into something the other day.
All I know.
Yuriael.
Thank you.
You gotta love the RPG.
Asimir and Galil are kind of going back and forth. As they do, you're looking ahead, and you see in the distance what you think looks like a Behir climbing on a column. One of these large, wide columns that go ceiling all the way down into the water.
Guys?
And the scale of it seems a little off. And as you're looking at it, you think the physiology of it looks a little off too. Because it does have a singular reptilian form of a Behir at first. But as you're getting closer to it and your guys' residual lights are kind of fanning over and just starting to get the edges of dim light onto it, you see that it's got this elongated, wide, fat neck that extends far out, and it almost kind of makes it look lopsided, like it's got an almost normal Behir body and an almost extra long neck. Yeah. And you look at it and you see that its head comes at you, and you see the weirdest silhouette you've ever seen in your life, or facade of this creature, as 5 Behir heads are stacked into each other, chin touching chin, in a circular pattern, almost emulating a singular head as it moves. And as it regards you in the distance, you see it comes up, and then all the heads split. And you see all these necks roiling around. And before you have a chance to shit your pants,
It's too late.
you see a triumphant Elara Viraleth standing on the back of this creature, watching you guys row up.
This smug bitch.
Hold on, Yuriael. I was almost getting to the best part. So,
Are you guys seeing this?
what is it? Holy hells!
I pointed out.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
It takes about 2 minutes of rowing before you guys catch up, and as you're getting closer, the thing slinks into the water and swims towards you, and then fans out in front of your boat. There's this oversized Hydra Behir chimeric thing is looking at you guys.
I'm so startled.
And the central head kind of just drips down and gets level with the boat, and Elara, you can just walk right onto the boat.
I do so smugly.
Yes.
Quite a lot.
Who the fuck are you?
We thought you were dead for sure.
Yeah, we were looking for a body.
Who's this?
This is Farum.
Is he our friend now? Are you?
Wait, Ephraim, what is that, German?
Yes. He is a friend of the Yuri.
Wait, no shit, really?
He has enlightened me with knowledge of the Yuri and says that I am on a noble path in trying to restore them to power, or at least discover where this power was kept. So
Wait, you can speak Behir too?
he can
think- Oh.
speak our language. He is much more than he seems.
What?
He is much more than he seems. 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 He is much more than he seems
Is it still around?
It's like moving away as you say this, and kind of like fucking Godzilla's away into the water.
Y'all kind of stare at him as he leaves in reverence.
Bye-bye. That's weird.
Is anyone else like
That's really weird.
Uriel said he shit his pants. Like, I'm in that boat too. But
I need to. I
we-
need to change.
Prestidigitation. No. Can we like
Does that get rid of the shit?
chase it? Yeah, it cleans up to 1 square foot of fabric, or I can sew it.
I think it's more than one.
No, but does it like get rid of the defecation?
It
Depends on your definition of clean, I guess.
cleans it.
I'm
It says
just-
it cleans it.
It's just a clean poo.
sanitary poo.
Oh, still don't like that.
Yeah, it's still poo.
I'm so exhausted at this point.
back, throw it
I
in
can't
the
even really question what's happening. And all I can think about is that when we turn this boat, we're going to be going downstream, which is going to be a lot.
Wild
Yeah,
River.
it's a
It's
lot
going to be
easier.
very nice. But I think we should ride downstream and take Everett up on that rest and then catch up on what has happened
Yeah,
the
I'm-
past
Yeah.
day.
I need to sleep. I am exhausted from everything that went down in that town.
I know it's a little further, but I would rather make it back to Everett's than try to make camp out in the...
Wilderness.
No,
Yeah, down
completely agree. I also need to talk to Everett about the rat thing and why it happened after he moved into the cave. That is eating me alive.
I believe that things down
Like a
here
rat.
are much
Like a
more
rat.
safe than they were yesterday. That was the fabled Lake Guardian, but again, he is so much more than that.
You know, I was
So
about to
what was
say,
he guarding?
Lake Guardian sounds very underwhelming for what he was.
Yes.
Like, what the hell was that?
That's
You say you're having
pet
this
name that
conversation as
people
the
on
boat
surface gauge.
is
Yeah.
heading towards your destination.
Uriel's starting to fall asleep. Like he's got his bandana pulled up.
Day out of the lake.
Yeah.
Water damn tire you
I like to imagine he's got a cowboy hat out of nowhere now.
You ever been on a boat at night? That's what it feels like.
The artifact that you found, I believe, is Aethersite. And he told me of their downfall, discovering a source of Aethersite deep within the mountains.
Wait, so there is.
Yeah, we figured as much. It seems to have cursed my entire bloodline with artifacts and trinkets made out of aethersite that they've been carrying around with them.
Well,
The
how do you know
source-
it was the Aether side?
The source itself was cursed or corrupted in some way.
But not
My
the
mom
Aether
was
side.
working with the material
Directly?
directly. I think anyone might have been able to lift the curse from the material, it would have been her. And I sort of gestured to my armor, which I believe to have been made of aethersite, but nothing calamitous has befallen me since I've worn it.
Yeah, so Aether side is fine.
You were there when you obtained it. There was definitely
was.
a deific presence there. It was definitely a purified set of armor.
Maybe my family found a way to purify the material.
Well, maybe
Maybe they didn't, and maybe that's why we're all in ruin.
maybe the ability lies in your veins.
Or maybe the curse is. Hear me out, and I mean very respectfully. Maybe the curse is unrelated or possibly in your head.
It could be
What are you
a
doing?
spot of
I
hysteria.
don't think you've ever told us what this curse is.
You met my niece. You saw her the misfortune that befall.
Yeah,
befell
stroke
her.
of bad luck. Things happen.
My whole family line. My whole family is gone.
I think you're focusing. Well, that sucks. I'm sorry, but I think you're focusing your hatred onto one specific.
Why
thing.
would your grandpa have such an interest in this material if it's so disastrous?
Because it's not disastrous. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to say the least. We don't know a lot about it. I mean, only it
Seems only
like
we haven't
your
seen anything.
family.
Dude. Yeah.
Er Faroon was charged with guarding the source that was under this mountain.
So he can take us there.
No. He has cast himself into exile and now truly is the guardian of this lake and this underground land.
Seems like the mistakes he made could have led to the downfall of my entire family line. So
Yeah, the
quite
same,
possibly Exile is
the
necessary.
same could be said of the entire dwarven race who stumbled upon the source. But
You say that lightly, or you'll be in the water.
I think the bullywugs had stumbled upon some form of aethersite technology.
Yeah,
I mean, the crown.
as did the kobolds.
Yes.
Wait, the crown was Aether side?
Yeah. The
Like
crown
the
was Aether site.
kobolds?
We had the staff and the
Kobolds had
kobolds
the
that we
staff.
throw.
Yeah.
We still have that.
No,
Was I
we
here
broke
for
it.
that?
Remember?
We still have it broken though.
Oh, okay.
Was I here for that? I think it was
That
right
was
before I showed up.
That was
It was right-
no. You showed up after.
That was-
Listen, all I know is that you have that on right now. That's Aethersight. Isn't it evil? Shouldn't be. But you're saying you purified it. What about
He's saying his mom purified.
Yeah.
your mom purified it? Bless her heart. My mom works hard too, but probably not as hard as your mom.
Isn't it
But,
possible that the other of your bloodline that you spoke of, isn't it possible that she has some Aethersight article that has not been purified?
Yeah, I think my niece definitely has the earrings and that we saw her with, but she went to visit family, to stay with family in Alexandria.
Olenvale. She's still in Starusha,
Yeah,
but
she
she went to another province.
Yeah, the
She
equivalent.
has tainted. We have tainted material, but we need to learn first off where's the corrupted vein because they're just going to keep getting more of it.
Deep below us.
Okay, so say it is corrupted. Can we find a not corrupted? Is that what I'm hearing?
I have heard that there are other sources of Aethersight all across the continent that may or may not be corrupted. I think it has to be corrupted for it to be bad.
Because
I think I need to go back to my mom's forge and look around and see if I can suss out what ritual she may have been performing, what prayers. Was it a religious act? Was it a metallurgy act that she was performing? Did it have to do with temperatures or, hymns? I don't know what the process was.
you have to burn sage and cut off the head of a chicken.
Yeah.
If
But
it
I
can be
think-
corrupted, it can be purified. And surely, if we're visiting where she did her works at with the Aether site, we might find clues as to where she went to gather the Aether site. She could have a mine located nearby.
That's a very good idea, or at least some sort of map.
I think in the meantime
Because-
you should search within yourself, because if she discovered the power to do it, if it wasn't tied to any sort of tool or location, you might be able to access the power within too. Gar Uragan is the name of a Yuri capital that was in this plane of existence.
What relationship do the Yuri have to the Aether site?
They are the guardians of this realm.
Well, they
I
haven't
was
been
sent
doing a
here
very good
to
job.
warn them of the calamity that was on the way. And I fear that the calamity that I sensed was the corruption of the Aether site.
So wait, you said Gar Urgon?
Gar Uragan.
That was a city of the Uri.
Yes.
I'm writing that down. Book right now.
Roll a history check, Asimir.
Do we think
if
it's
I
underground?
don't if I don't know anything about it, I am writing it down right
The
now.
only thing I know about it is that it is called the Sleeping City, and it lies far to the east beyond blazing deserts.
We walk in and just me. I don't know what's wrong.
So I know, hearing him say that, I've
19.
been to the coast. I've been to Alexandria. I've been to Bahamut's Spine. From east to west, I've pretty much been through this whole continent. Am I aware of a big desert to the east?
You think about it, and you recall, yes, you are very close. In fact, you surprised it didn't immediately jump to you. There's within view of Bahamut's Spine. Asimir, you recall that there is a desert area to the east of the Silver Scale or Silverflight Mountains known as the Garuragan Sands. A large crescent-shaped cul-de-sac of mountains that is filled entirely with sand all the way to its eastern points. And there is some historical basis that could have been ancient ruins hidden in those eastern mountain ranges.
Oh man. So
Treasures.
I was in
It may as well be a different country at that.
Yeah.
Like it's not even considered part of anybody's kingdom because it's just desolate waste.
I was in my geography class one time. I've heard tale of Arubagon.
Gar
Arugar.
Uragan.
So
Oregon.
here's the thing that I'm having.
Some
That's
scholarly
great
debate on the
information that
pronunciation.
you acquired from the Lake Guardian. But what's not making so much sense to me is he is guarding the Aether site, but he exiled himself away from the Aether site. But obviously, my family, the dwarves, found the Aether site vein near here. It's near Bahamut's Spine because they were pulling it up and processing it here. They weren't shipping it that I'm aware of.
I mean,
His realm extended to encompass the Aethersite source. I think that the dwarves themselves corrupted it. And once this corruption seeped in,
I don't think that. I don't think
he
that at
exiled
all.
himself.
So
I
if we're
think that's
saying
wrong.
if we're saying that,
Jot that down in your
that
book is
means-
wrong theory.
I mean, I'm writing everything down right now.
jot that
bitch.
down. That's wrong. So cross that one.
I mean, if that is true, that comes to say that the Aethersite itself isn't the evil here.
Correct.
And I mean, if it's in this cave, why not try to find it?
If it can be corrupted, it can be purified.
It told me that we should avoid any corrupted Aethersite at all costs.
That's what they want you to think, man.
He doesn't want the corruption to spread any further.
I'm just thinking. Think about it. We can be regarded as legends of magical influence, and this can be a turning point, almost a revolution of generations to come.
If I had the power that I held in the Fey realm, I would agree with you. But I think this task is beyond us just yet.
We can have flying carriages or something. I don't know.
Ooh,
So
I
we
like
have-
that.
Flying carriages.
I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
I pull out my shackles, and I pull out the broken rod. And while we're rowing back to Everett's, I say, this is what we're assuming is a source of corrupted Aethersite because the Cabal had it, and kobolds. And so we found them, and we think this is corrupted. So I just want to study them and see if I can note any difference in the materials themselves.
They seem indiscernible. Like from a practical mechanical application of the material, it looks like it was used in the same way.
I want to try to do an arcane check on them, Arcana, and see if they differ in that way.
Kind of the same vibe. Like you can tell that they both have some level of enchantment to them, but you're not sure what differentiates them.
We might have to do some experimentation on them to see any difference. I can't tell any difference.
I will say that you can tell that the one that you guys broke, the staff, it does have less of that sparkly sheen through it. It just seems kind of darkened.
Yeah, so I'll grab it.
But other than that, it's the same striations, the same kind of mineral.
I'll say this one looks like it has been destroyed to a point.
As I'm sitting there noticing that there is really no difference between what I'm considering corrupt and non-corrupt items, I think back to the death of Chris and the death of my family, and I wonder if maybe the items I have are corrupted, and it's been my fault this whole time that we've been stumbling into so many problems. I'm unaware.
And on that heavy thought, as conversation falls to silence and you continue the last leg of the trip to row back to Everett's hideout, that's where we're going to end this session.
Wow, that was.
Yeah.
I feel like. I don't know. I just feel like that was a very interesting episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of information.
A lot of info. We
I
met
love
the
the
Lake
scenery
Guardian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I was not expecting
a fucking
that
Hydra.
level of Lake Guardian. I was thinking the Alpha.
Yeah.
I
Here,
knew it
could've been
was
the
like,
Lake
I was
Guardian.
like, there's something else.
There's always a bigger fish.
Of course, Everett doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
He's like, he's a Lake Guardian. I named him that.
I did it. I have the crown. I can say these
He's
things.
a fucking demigod. Nightmare.
All right, good. Well, thanks everyone for listening. If you like us, please find us online at all the various places. We're out on Patreon. We're out on Spotify. We've got YouTube episodes coming up.
Yes.
We're looking to bring more of some visual things to stuff when we have time to make it all come to fruition. So stay tuned for the next episode, guys. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. We got 100 Patreons.
Will be sung as we share our adventures with friends old and young. So come raise your glass to the hero